So Funimation has just announced that they are shutting down. They are sunsetting. And I've done videos about this before, but something really interesting happened that I think sets a... Listen, I'm just going to say a bad precedent. A really... listen, it's not great. And while, yes, this is about streaming anime, and I do a lot of manga content, I still think this is... I want to talk about this, and I want to get your guys' opinion on this, because it has to do with digital. And honestly, I kind of find myself gravitating towards some digital series, especially with the subscription service. It's kind of easy to keep up with the latest chapter of Shonen Jump or the latest chapter of Viz Thing, or if you want to use K-manga, it's also there. But no, seriously, I think digital manga has really become a viable option to kind of try out new series instead of just having to commit to buying the physical volume. I don't think it's a bad thing. But when stuff like this happens, it makes me think it's bad. Man, listen, this is not a great look. So, if you don't know, Funimation put out a press release saying on April 2nd of this year, they are going to be sunsetting, shutting down the services. And if you don't know, go further back in time. Funimation merged with Crunchyroll a while back. And we kind of all had our opinions on what does this mean for Funimation? And now I think it's kind of the final thing of we're shutting down. Even in their press release, they say, hey, though, Crunchyroll has a ton, most of our library, not all of our library, but most of it. And during this time, Crunchyroll put out, hey, we're going to also update our pricing. You know how, if you pay for the year, it's $55 a year. How about $100 starting in 2025? How about you just pay us double? Because, listen, where else can you go? But that's the problem with a monopoly like this, I think at least. When services stop going away and this one service kind of consumes everything, they can kind of do whatever they want because they're looking at you and saying, hey, if you don't want to, go the illegal route, you're going to kind of do whatever we want you to do. And that, I'm not going to lie to you, is a bummer. It's a bummer. It's one of those things that you dread. And I think competition is good. I think monopoly is a horrible thing in business, especially because you get stuff like this. Think about even Netflix, right? Netflix continuously updates their pricing, especially recently. It's went from $8 a month to $30 a month. On top of, hey, sharing a password? Not caring. It's not caring to share a password. That's not friendship. Shut it down. Listen. Dude, they flipped on that so fast. And if you want to do stuff the right way, what other choice do you have? Netflix has a little bit of anime. Hulu has a little bit. But if you think of anime, especially streaming anime, the only name that comes to mind is Crunchyroll. And I hear what you're saying. You're like, man, you're still mumbling about this, but what are you really talking about? What does that have to do with manga? Because all of those are a bummer and not great. But there is one thing in this press release that is insane. And that is they answered the question of what will happen to your digital things when this sunsetting happens. Well, if you thought, migrate over to Crunchyroll, I don't know, I'll still have access to the things that I purchased money with. I have some bad news. I don't know how to say this. I'm gonna be as gentle as possible. It's gone. Seriously, you're not gonna have access to it. And that gets called into question. I'm bringing it back around to manga. Do we own stuff digitally? Now again, you can take my opinion, I guess, with a grain of salt, because if I like a lot of physical media. I like to hold the things. I like to turn around and be like, hello. Oh my god. I have this book. This book just can't disappear one day. So, being a person that really likes physical media, of course, I'm going to always lean towards see, digital. Do you really ever own it? But that's not really what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is this precedent that it sets that something that you've bought, you've purchased your real money with, you don't own it. And someone can decide at any moment it's gone. And while that sucks, and I don't think that's right in the lead, I don't know how you spin this to be like, you know, I'm sorry. Like, to me, the way I feel, like, I just don't see how you spin that. I think the biggest thing this does is it does damage to even getting to the future where, like, a lot of stuff is digital. Because even, let's say me, right? As a person that loves physical media, the digital marketers are going to be like, we're trying to get them to purchase digital goods. This kind of precedent is not going to win me over. I'm not going to be like, you're right. You're right. I was crazy to think like, I don't want to own it digitally. Because come to find out, I don't own it digitally. And so as a person like that, why would it get me to switch? Because now, even though I hardly ever spent my actual money to buy a digital manga, I'm definitely not going to do it now. Because this wasn't just some random company. This is one of the biggest companies when it comes to anime and now selling manga. And I think this is why this story hit me the way it is, because I've talked with you guys in the comments down below about digital stuff before. Again, I've made videos about it. But it's when that thing happens that it's like your worst nightmare comes true. When a company that you have no control over says, you spent that money? Well, technically, and even in the phrasing, it's like, technically that was a license to view the media. You didn't own the media. It was just a license to have it on your device to view the media. What? And I think that becomes a bigger topic, right? Because we are such a streaming culture, honestly. Like, I love streaming. I'm going to be honest with you. I heartily own physical, like, Blu-rays, DVDs of, like, shows or movies. I just stream a lot of the stuff. One, there's not many movies, TV shows that I hold like super dear. It's not my hobby to collect that kind of thing. But then something like this happens and I'm like, you know what? Hold on a minute. I probably, if it really means a lot to me, if I want to show my kids down the road something, I should probably own it in my hands. I should probably physically own this because it is so easy, not only for your digital rights to be non-existent. It's so easy for a company to be like, you know what? This movie really didn't do well, or it embarrassed us. Disney's done this before with Disney Plus. We're just going to not tell anyone and it's going to go away later. I'm sorry. We didn't like you. And that's really scary to me. And I think the reason I use the word scary is because I genuinely love this stuff. I genuinely, when you connect with a piece of fiction, regardless if it's anime, manga, a TV show, whatever, a piece of music, whatever it may be, when you genuinely connect with a story or something, because when I revisit it down the road, I might be thinking of a time when I was reading it that it helped me get through like a dark period, or it helped me get through something really tragic that happened to me, or it made me happy when I was just having a bad day, or a character connected with me and it kind of changed the way I thought about a certain topic of the world. That's how powerful media is. That's why it means so much to me. It's why I literally do a YouTube channel talking about fictional stuff and collecting fictional things, because I love this stuff. I think it might be entertainment, and it is entertainment, but it just means a lot to me. And so when a story like this comes out, where out of nowhere, someone or multiple people decided that we're going to basically lie. We're going to say, you own that? Yeah, dude, buy the digital copy. What do you mean? Yes, it's yours. What? Yeah, all right. Yeah, right. We'll take $20. Yeah, okay. By the way, it's gone. It's not yours. Just kidding. Lol. Got you. You get nothing in return. Listen, you're just burned. That's it. And I say all that, but I'm still going to have a Shonen Jump app subscription. I'm still probably going to have a Hulu subscription. I'm still going to have these subscriptions, and I am just a hypocrite, dude. And that's what I struggle with. Like, does that make me a hypocrite? What can we do to change where we're going? I feel like that is too deep of a conversation for a manga YouTube channel to have. So we're not going to have that conversation. I mean, I guess we could talk if you have some thoughts and stuff and we could talk it out, but I'm not going to do it here. I'm not smart enough. I'm just not. I can accept that. I'm not going to solve that by rambling into this camera. But it does make me think a lot about when Viz was increasing prices and things are increasing everywhere. I still don't think it takes away from the fact when I look at my manga collection, sometimes I'm like, should I have owned this? Should I have spent my money on it? And now when stuff like this happens, I'm like, I'm glad I did. I'm glad that I physically have that. It might not be my favorite series in the world, but I supported the author. I supported the art. And not everything has to be a 10 out of 10. And sometimes I'm just happy that I have this big collection. And years down the road, decades down the road, barring a natural disaster, I'll still have this collection. And I'll still have these stories. And I think the value in that is going to just keep rising. Not the value on eBay. I'm not saying like monetary value. Value to me. The value that this collection has to me is only going to increase. Because I think, and it's just my opinion, if you have a different opinion, again, I love talking in the comments down below. I think we're about to enter a really scary time of digital ownership, the preservation of art, and what that all means 10, 20, 30 years from now. I just think that we live in very scary times, especially when it happens to a community that I am a part of and really respect and love in like the anime community and manga, which is very adjacent. And I have no idea what this means. I just think it's a very bad precedent to be set. And the next 10 years and like digital ownership is going to be an interesting conversation. And, let's just talk in the comments down below because this is crazy. I am still shocked that Funimation actually just said later to that stuff. They might be one of the first companies that I can think of that has done that. I don't know, man. I say this all the time, but I know after this information, you're probably not having a great day if you have bought some stuff on Funimation. But if you are having a bad day, I hope it gets better. If you're having a good day, I hope it becomes fantastic. I'll see you next time.